Good morning. I am here 6 minutes earlier today. So you know the drill. If you're watching in recording, you're welcome to stay through our hellos, or you can just fast forward 6 minutes to the beginning of the actual practice. Buenos días, Ruby. Good morning, Maria. Good morning, Gina. Good morning, Joey. Good morning, Mary. You woke up early today. Good morning, Yani. Alright, guys, it is time for us to start. And today we will begin exploring the next ethical practice of yoga, the yama called ASTEYA, or non-stealing. And again, we're not going to talk about the obvious ways we can steal from others, but rather focus on subtle aspects of non-stealing or stealing from others and ourselves alike. We will start with exploring how we can steal from others in an almost unnoticeable and yet very profound way. And first, I would like to read an excerpt from Deborah Adele's book, Yamas and Niyamas, and then we will do a short reflection around it. She writes, "Our habitual outward focus leads us to compare ourselves to others and to send our energy into their lives in unhealthy ways. When we compare ourselves to others, we either find ourselves lacking, which makes us feel somehow cheated, inferior, or we find ourselves superior, which leaves us feeling somewhat arrogant. Our attention on others from a place of discontent within ourselves can lead us to live vicariously through others, or to try to control, manipulate, or manage them in order to boost our own sagging ego. We may find ourselves trying to trump or one-up their stories and successes by coming behind them with our own more fabulous tales. All of it is an attempt to make ourselves feel better. For example, perhaps someone is sharing their excitement about an upcoming trip, to which we immediately pipe in with a much more exotic trip that we have planned, or maybe we say that we have already been where they're going. We never really think about this type of interaction as stealing, and yet suddenly the conversation becomes about us and our trip, which means we have stolen their excitement about their own trip. And we even do it with death. For example, if someone's mother has passed, we can shift conversation to our story of losing our own mother. We're making the situation again about us instead of being present for the other person. We steal their moment of grief. Or yet another example, we steal from others by not paying attention to them or just discounting them. In all the instances we have made the situation about us and not about the other, we actually steal. Yogi Bhajan says, be a forklift. You should always be lifting people up. The question we can ask ourselves in our encounters with others is, does the other person feel uplifted and lighter because they have been with us? Or do they feel like something precious was taken away from them, even if they cannot pinpoint what exactly it is? Have we brightened their day by taking a moment to listen, to sincerely compliment them, or to simply smile? So let's explore this together. Take a comfortable position, and as always, acknowledge all the circumstances of your practice, both internal and external. As you take this mindful pause, inhabit it with all your senses. Feel the truth about being you right in this moment. How are you feeling physically? How are you feeling emotionally? What kind of thoughts are in your mind this morning? And now bring to mind a recent interaction with another person where you may have unknowingly stole from them. It may have been through time, attention, one-upmanship, power, confidence, or not being able to genuinely celebrate the other person's successes. As you reflect on this situation, notice what's happening in your body physically right now. Where do you feel it? Reflect on what prompted you to steal from the other person in this way, that you may not even have thought about as stealing. In that moment, did you want to feel better about yourself? Or remind the other person of your own importance? Or maybe it was just a habit. Reflect on this interaction in all detail from that standpoint. And at the same time, don't judge yourself. We all do this to one extent or another. Be kind to yourself. Be happy that now you have a different perspective on this type of thing. That now you may be able to be a bit more attentive. here we're gonna rely on the other two yamas that we have already explored: non-violence, ahimsa, to oneself, so no judgment, and satya, truthfulness. It's okay to open up to this truth. This is just being human. And now let's take a moment to reframe this memory, rewiring our brain to act differently in similar situations in the future. So once again, replay the entire conversation or interaction that you just reflected on with all the details. But this time, practice being a forklift to that person, so that by the end of your interaction, they feel important, they feel held, listened to, understood, seen. As you do this reframing work, notice how that feels in your body. Where do you feel it? Note that it doesn't mean that you cannot share your own experiences with other people. Of course you can. Just be sure to come from a place of making the other person heard and seen first, and then, if it is appropriate, share your own story. Your story may actually be very inspiring to the other person too, but it all depends on how we deliver it. And the timing matters as well. As you go through your day today, see if you can practice being a forklift so that everyone you come in contact with feels uplifted just because they were in your presence. Thank you so much for being here today. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you tomorrow.